There's a version of cheating that never gets caught. No messages to find, no proof you can point to, no moment where everything visibly falls apart. And yet, something inside you shifted. The relationship started feeling different, quieter, less safe, in a way you couldn't fully explain. You told yourself you were overthinking, but something inside you wasn't buying that explanation. So you went quiet, and the feeling got louder. The nervous system doesn't wait for proof. It tracks patterns, energy priority, presence, and it will tell you the truth, long before your mind is ready to hear it. These are the 6 signs of cheating that leave no evidence, the kind most men feel, but are never taught to name. Sign 1. You're no longer her first call. One day you realize you're no longer the first person she turns to, not for good news, not for hard days, not for the small things that used to find their way to you naturally. You find out things later now, sometimes through someone else. What makes this so confusing is that nothing inappropriate has to happen for this shift to hurt. No fight, no clear moment, just a slow, quiet redirection of emotional investment you felt before you could name it. Attachment doesn't measure closeness by titles, it measures it by priority. Being the last to know isn't jealousy, it's your nervous system registering that your place in her emotional world has quietly been filled by someone else. Sign 2. Her phone became a closed door. There's a difference between privacy and secrecy. Privacy is, I have a sense of self. Secrecy is, I need to make sure you don't see this. At some point, without announcement, something shifted from one to the other. What makes this so confusing is that nothing inappropriate has to be in those messages for the secrecy itself to register as betrayal. When important information is consistently kept out of view, the nervous system fills in the blanks, automatically. Not out of jealousy, out of self-protection. The gap between what's being shared and what's being hidden, that gap is what your body has been responding to. Noticing the closed door isn't paranoia, it's pattern recognition, doing exactly what it was built to do. Sign 3. There is one name that changes the energy in the room. You already know who this is about. The name came to you immediately, and every time that name comes up, something changes in the room. What makes this so confusing is that you're not accusing anyone. You're simply saying, something about this doesn't feel right. And instead of reassurance, you get a wall. Why are you so insecure? I can't have friends now? Men are conditioned to back down here, to decide that asking the question makes them the problem. But when someone has nothing to protect, concern is met with reassurance. When someone is protecting something, concern is met with a counterattack. Asking to feel safe isn't insecurity. It's the most fundamental human attachment need there is. Sign 4. She stopped bringing you her pain. People don't share their real pain with just anyone. They share it with whoever feels safest. Now she brings you the surface, the fine, the okay, the nothing much. What makes this so confusing is that on the outside, nothing looks wrong. She's still there, still present. But the real her, the one that's uncertain and vulnerable and scared, that version is going somewhere else now. When she stops bringing her pain to you, she didn't just stop sharing a feeling. She stopped choosing you as her safe place. That absence, that specific silence, is louder than anything she could have said out loud. Sign 5. Intimacy became a transaction. On paper, nothing is wrong. Still together, still saying the words, but something underneath went hollow. And the worst part, you start wondering if this is just what long-term relationships feel like. You start normalizing it, lowering what you expect until you can no longer remember what it felt like when it was real. Emotional intimacy requires investment. When it flows somewhere else, what remains in the relationship is maintenance, the performance of closeness without the presence behind it. You can feel the difference between someone who wants you and someone who is simply still there. That's not a rough patch. That's intimacy being redirected. Sign 6. You were made to feel crazy for noticing any of this. You felt something shift. You brought it up, not with accusations, just something feels off between us. And instead of being heard, you were handed a diagnosis. You're so insecure. Maybe if you weren't so controlling, I'd actually want to be around you. And slowly, you started believing it. What makes this the most confusing sign of all is that it doesn't just damage the relationship, it damages your relationship with your own instincts. Your gut feeling is not insecurity. It is not paranoia. It is precise, accumulated data built to detect exactly this. Shifts in emotional safety, changes in priority, patterns your conscious mind hasn't caught up with yet. This isn't you being crazy. This is your gut being right. Cheating isn't only about physical acts. It's about where the attention, the energy, and the aliveness go, and whether any of it still comes home to you. You don't need a confession to know something changed. You don't need proof to honor what you already feel. Because sometimes nothing officially happens, and yet something was lost. You were never crazy. You were never the problem. You were just paying attention. If this video put words to something you've been quietly carrying, subscribe. Next video will go even deeper. Drop one word in the comments, describing how this made you feel. I read every single one.